I had the pleasure of speaking with the late, great Roger Mayweather, the original Black Mamba. Go look it up on multiple occasions. Roger, the longtime trainer of his nephew, Floyd Mayweather, would often talk to us reporters for long periods of time about the state of boxing, about the sweet science of boxing, about what made a good fighter. But every single time, he would make sure that you knew this.
On the wall of the Mayweather gym hangs a photographic mural of the boxing history Floyd chases. It's also an answer key for his uncle's frequent pop quizzes.
Most people don't know shit about boxing at all, period. The guy who Ali is right here. You know where it is, don't you? Let's be honest, man. You must know shit about boxing. The longest reigning champion ever in the history of boxing, half of people don't even know. That's Joe Louis. The greatest Latin fighter, you should know who he is.
Oscar.
What the fuck you say?
I mean, who is it?
Who's the best Latin fighter ever?
On this photo,
Durant.
Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran, motherfucker.
I love boxing. I love knowing about boxing. He was the youngest heavyweight champion of the world to Mike Tyson. Before he passed. But where do the most multi-champions come from? You got Tommy Hearns, he had 6. You got Ray Robinson, he had 7. You got my nephew, he had 6. You know where all them dudes come from? From around my way, from the Midwest. The greatest fighter in the world, they only come from one zone. The Midwest dominate the world of boxing. I ain't gotta tell you that. Ask the motherfucker who got their ass beat by somebody from the Midwest, and then you'll know.
Over the years, it has become apparent that Roger Mayweather knew exactly what he was talking about. And there was no more perfect example of that than last Saturday's Tank Davis LaMont Roach fight. What people need to understand is that you don't play boxing. See, all of us could go outside right now and go shoot some hoops. We can go play some football. We can go golfing. We can play tennis. We can scrap up some people, maybe play baseball, softball. We can go swimming. We can run around the track. Not many people wake up and say, I want to go to the gym and get hit in the head 100 times. It's a serious sport. People think football is a violent, dangerous sport. And it is. But the chances of dying are minuscule. That's why it's so shocking to see what had happened to Damar Hamlin. In boxing, multiple times a year, a boxer dies from his injuries in the ring. It's a serious sport, not one to play with. It's why when I speak about fighting sports, I hold a greater reverence to the athlete. I am much more apt to try to explain to you, even with critiques, why you shouldn't shit on a boxer or a UFC fighter or a kickboxer. Because they're literally putting their life on the line each time for your entertainment. So I don't like to see it, especially in American boxing, where when someone loses, all of a sudden they get shitted on by everyone. The media of boxing has changed over the years. Boxing used to be a mainstream sport that was covered by mainstream media. That has changed to the media now are mostly YouTube content creators with no formal journalistic training. And you can tell because of the biases and the way that they create their content simply for engagement as opposed to reporting on the sport fairly. And we saw that last Saturday with the LaMont Roach Tank Davis fight. I actually think Tank Davis is a underrated boxer. A lot of people just see him as a knockout artist, a little mini Mike Tyson. But I've always felt that he was underrated in the sense that he is not a brawler. He is not a come forward pressure fighter. He's a boxer puncher. Often he's waiting for you to make the mistake and then he capitalizes on it. Yes, I wish that he fought certain individuals. I wish he had taken some different fights. I think those are fair assessments. But I definitely do not think he's a bad fighter or he's an overrated fighter. What happened on Saturday, if you are a historian of boxing, if you someone that has covered boxing or even just watched boxing all your life, this is not an unusual type of event where the A side, the star, who's made a lot of money, who has been through a lot of things outside of the ring, who is talking about retirement, who's having beef with his longtime trainer and cornerman, to come out and have what we would like to call a flat performance. And then on the flip side, the B-side fighter, who knows that they may never ever get another opportunity like this, fights the fight of their life. The best fight that they could ever fight. We've seen this happen on multiple occasions in boxing. Doesn't mean that Tank Davis is a bad fighter. It does mean that maybe we underestimated LaMont Roach a little bit. But on any given Saturday, in this case, when you are in the ring, anything can happen. As they say, one punch can change a fight. In fighting sports, it's the only sport that you can be losing the entire time, be down the entire time, and still have the opportunity at the end with 1 second left to still win. And we've seen that happen before as well. The issue is people not being fair and unbiased in the boxing media. When we talk about robberies in boxing, I think the word robbery at times get thrown around too often. Sometimes a fight is just close. Sometimes a fight could go either way. In this particular instance, that is correct. If you had to fight 7-5 for Tank Davis, understandable. If you had a 6-6, a draw, understandable. If you had a 7-5 Roach, understandable. The problem in this specific instance, which is something that I have never seen in my entire time that I've covered the sport, in my entire time that I have watched boxing since I was a little Rob, I have never seen a boxer take 3 punches, pause, take a knee, walk over to his corner, get wiped down, come back, tell the referee, okay, time in, and the referee allows it. It's just blatantly unfair. And when you take the scorecards into consideration, if that is correctly ruled a knockdown, which it has to be, those are the rules. This is not discretionary. This is not, and I will go over some of the stupid things that people said shortly. LaMont Roach should have won the fight. It should have been a majority or unanimous decision if it was scored correctly. I like Steve Willis, one of my favorite refs of all time. I don't know what he was thinking. I hope he just got caught up in the moment and wasn't thinking. He actually started the count, which makes it 10 times worse. He made a mistake, and that mistakes need to be corrected. But see, a lot of people, they don't know shit about boxing. So, the first thing they said was LaMont Roach took a knee in the next round. No. When you're in a clinch, when you're fumbling around with someone and they push you down and you happen to take a knee, that's not considered a knockdown. I saw people who don't know shit about boxing going at Terrence Crawford because of a knockdown that wasn't ruled when he fought Mean Machine. And you know something? That should have been a knockdown. It was a clean punch. Terrence was holding on. and he eventually fell down. But once again, that's apples to oranges. It wasn't voluntarily falling down. It was in the middle of a fight, and he got hit, and he fell down. When that happens, it is at the discretion of the referee. It is only the ref's discretion if after a punch he feels that the opponent pushed down the individual and therefore he wouldn't rule it a knockdown. It's only the ref's discretion if there is a slip or the feet get tangled that it's not a knockdown. It is not the ref's discretion if it's a voluntary knee. And the reason that we know that this is irrefutable is that Tank said it himself.
What's going on?
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning. And, you know, like, you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee than, you know. But I didn't really know that you can, like, get disqualified for all that. Or, like, when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know. It's cool.
There are no timeouts in boxing. No matter if there's grease in your eye, there's blood in your eye, your head is cut open, your shoulder's falling off, your jaw is broken, your ankle is turned and twisted. There's no timeouts in boxing. And for anyone to say otherwise, they're lying to you, and they're gaslighting you, and they're trying to use you for engagement. I'll be honest. I didn't think LaMont Roach had a chance. I thought he was going to be knocked clean out of the ring within 6 or 7 rounds. I was wrong. That's why you play the games. That's why you fight the fights. But stop listening to people who don't know shit about boxing. They're just going to spread your brain with stuff that you don't really need to know. Listen to the actual people that have been in the gyms, that have talked to the trainers, that have talked to the fighters, that have been in the trenches for years, as opposed to just some random person on social media. If you're watching this, you probably have too much time on your hands, but I do appreciate you. If you can do me a favor, if you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, BSO TV, and our podcast, The Headline King with Robert Littal, and Facts Not Feelings with Robert Littal on all of your podcasting spaces, I would really appreciate that. We're doing daily, weekly videos, insider information, things that you won't be able to get on the website. So please subscribe to these spaces, and therefore you get to see my lovely face on a daily basis.